Hi there, Minecrafters. Welcome back to another tutorial with Vaupell. Today we're going to look at turtles from the mod Computercraft. And the turtles are, well, as you can see on the screen, it's a small block with a tool equipped. And you can have different tools equipped depending on what your goal is with the turtle. You can control the turtle and make him do things like placing blocks, breaking blocks, harvest, etc. Well, the limits are set by your programming skills and your imagination, really. Today, we're going to partially cut down a tree, and I think we're going to try this tree here. So, things to consider before we start. Height of the tree, the size of the tree, and the turtle's movement, because he's going to move and interact without interfering. Well, at least that's the goal. So, first thing to consider is the turtle's placement, and the reason I removed that lower block there is because I want to place my turtle right there. I could program him to go in there and remove that block, but we're going to start off easy. I want to remove the block above him and the one in front of him. Then I want him to move one up, remove the one above, and then one in front, and then move one up, and continue this process until he has reached the top. At the top, I want him to move one over, repeat the excuse me. Repeat the process, except this time it's downwards. Destroy one block, the one in front, move down until he has reached the bottom. So, things to consider before we start programming. The height of the tree. Are the trees going to be different heights, meaning variable heights? Then we need to count the blocks upwards. No problem. Fuel. In order for these turtles to work, they need fuel. I'll show you in a minute how that works. And, well, we'll see as we go. Let's just get started with this. When you right-click a turtle, you'll get something like this. It's just a window with a text prompt. The prompt is the Turtle OS any version. And what only thing you really need to concern yourself about is that you're using at least version 1.4 or higher. Then everything is fine. There was a lot of changes in 1.4, and those changes may be something we're going to work with. Okay. So, this, when you enter, you can see there's nothing there except basic DOS commands. And these commands are just like on old computers as well. You can in fact do it on the computer you're using right now, and you're actually able to use the same commands. However, those are not the one we're going to use. We're going to use Lua. So we are just going to type Lua. Case sensitive small. No such program. Well, maybe we should spell it right. Lua. There we go. Okay, now we have entered the Lua interpreter. However, you can write the commands to the turtle right here using the Turtle API. The Turtle API is something I will link in the description. It's the commands you can use to control the turtle. So you combine the API commands along with your basic programming knowledge, where you use your basic commands from Lua, and you'll get a working turtle. I will show you, so no worries. Lua is just a language interpreter, so you shouldn't be afraid to use it. Just go nuts. Okay. However, if we write the commands here, you can see you can write turtle, And the reason when I write turtle dot something, it means I'm going to interact with the turtle API. That's the programming the turtle has. And by writing this, I tell the computer, now I'm going to use the turtle. And the computer says, okay. And then I can say, I want the turtle to go up because the programmer of the turtle have enabled the command up. When I press enter, it says false because whenever you give something a command, you will always get a return or should get a return. The return, if the command is a success, it would say true. If the command is not working, you'll get false. And of course, the turtle cannot move up because there is a block above it. Well, there may be other factors as well, something like fuel. Let's get some coal, just one stack of coal. Another thing is, we might want to use this program several times. Excuse me. So, in order to use the same program over and over, without having to write the entire thing each time on lines, we are going to make it a working program or file. So, we're going to create a new file, and we do that by typing edit, file name. Okay? The file name we're going to call vwood, v as in Vaupell, 01. And when I hit enter, we should get a new screen. No. Hang on. Okay, that was a bit strange, but well, it's quite clear what the problem is here. Of course, you cannot create a program inside the interpreter. We are in the Lua interpreter right now, so we're actually looking at something where we should type source code. We need to get out of the Lua before we can start our programming. That's a rookie mistake, but it's manageable. Now we're back in the prompt, and we're going to type edit v as in Vaupell wood 01. Woo! Okay, now we're actually writing a program. Okay, in order for a program to work, it's basically just a series of functions of a unit running over and over. Okay, and a function is basically what you can find in the API. You can find the functions of the turtle. We're going to combine those functions into a program. But we are also going to combine those functions into other functions, and those functions are something we make. I talked about the turtle needing fuel. That's something the programmer has decided they need, so let's go into Lua again and type turtle. Oh my god. Turtle get fuel level. It's 0. That means there is no fuel in it. In order for the turtle to work, it needs fuel. So I add a piece of coal. This is the turtle's inventory. The slots are named 1 through 16. Just like a book here in the Western world. Now we're going to use a function called refuel. Notice the coal disappeared, and we can try get fuel again. You can see we got 80 fuel inside right now. That's important to know. Now we're going to exit out to normal again. We're going to edit vwood 01. So one thing we need the turtle to do before it starts harvesting all the wood, we needed to check for fuel. So we're going to make our own function, and it's just function check fuel. The reason I made the second character in F, as in F, larger or caps, is because that's just standard common practice if you want. When you write, because in normal English you would write check fuel. But we can't have those spaces, so remove the space and a large character instead. Excuse me again. There we go. Such a function needs to have an end, so we're going to add the end at once, because that's the function. Now we have a function. It doesn't really do anything, but that's a function. That's the same way you create a function in many different programming languages. So we want to let the player know that he has to make sure there is fuel in slot number 1 over here. So we're going to write print, and print basically doesn't mean it's going to print on your printer, but it's going to print to the screen, and it's going to print the text we write now. Make sure there is at least 3 no, there is fuel in slot 1. Then press enter. And if you noticed, I made the, well, normally you would just hit tab and get the indent of the text, because that's also common practice. It makes the code easier to read for other people and yourself when you have to do debugging, because there will be problems. Okay, we told the player he has to put in fuel and press enter. But how do we make sure the computer doesn't go on before he presses enter? IO read. That basically makes the computer wait for player input. He doesn't have to press enter. He can press any key. But my keyboard doesn't have any key, so I don't use it. Okay, enough fun. Once the player presses a key, we're going to use one of the turtle functions. From the API, we're going to use the one called select. So turtle.select, and the 1 means we're going to select inventory number 1. If we type any other number up to 16, it's going to select that. And, well, why not make it a social turtle? So, checking fuel. No, that's wrong. Internal fuel. Once the player has pressed enter, it's going to write to the player, okay, checking for fuel. And now we're going to create a loop. You could do different things here. You could use a if sentence, and that's basically if something is true, then complete following task, end. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to do a while. And the reason is we want to refuel the turtle and make sure it has a specific amount of fuel before we do something. So the only problem with a while is it's only running while something is true. There are different ways to go around this issue, but let's start. But as you can see, it's basically English. So we're going to start indent. We're going to do dual indents right now. While. Now we're going to type another turtle function. Turtle get fuel level less than 200. Then we do. That's the difference. We type the while back here. If this was an if statement, you would type then instead of do, but basically do the same. Well, at least for now. Turtle refuel 1. Okay. As long as the turtle has less than 200 fuel, then refuel 1 from slot 1, because we have already selected slot 1 up here. Okay. End. And print refueling. Is that 2 L's? Maybe. Complete. There we go. Now we have our basic program. And the only thing that might cause some issues is this part right here. While turtle. And all we do is check for fuel. Let's try it. It may be buggy. We'll see in a second. However, if we run this, nothing will happen because functions do not run on their own. We have to give the command. Functions is just, it's just a function you can use later. So now I can write check fuel. And whenever the computer sees this, the Lua interpreter will run this function. Hit control to save, control to exit, and v would 01. Make sure there's fuel in slot 1. Okay, we're just going to put it in the stack. Checking internal fuel, refueling complete, and you can see it took 63, right? Yeah. So now we know the turtle is refueled. That's pretty cool. But that's only part 1. Now we know the turtle has enough fuel to harvest the entire tree. Okay. So that function worked, and we're just going to write a new function and going to move the check fuel downwards. Oh my god, spelling. Function cut wood up. How about that? And basically what that does is exactly what it's called. It's going to cut wood upwards. Well, let's go out here. My idea is this function will, let's make it daylight, cut woods in front, up, move up, front, up, move up, front, up, move up. And also going to detect if there is something to cut even, because if there's not, it doesn't really matter. So, we also need to count the amount of blocks. So, let's make a variable called tree height and set it to 0 because it's 0 right now. And that's basically going to count the height of the turtle. Okay. And we need to detect if there is something in front of the turtle. So, yeah, let's call this function, or, well, we're going to rename one of the functions. There's a function called detect turtle.select. And we're just going to rename it to something else. And we're actually going to call it something. So, something equals turtle.detect. So we have taken the entire function called turtle.detect and renamed it to something. Now we're going to I'm going to make a space so it's easier to read. And we're going to indent these because they're inside the function. And double indent here. While something do. If you remember from before, something is right up here. It says, so basically it says, while there is something in front of the turtle, do this. Okay, And the first thing we want to do is add one height to the turtle, even though it's 0 now. Doesn't matter. So we're going to write tree height equals tree height plus 1. We're going to take a new variable, even though it's the same name, and add 1 to it. So at this line, this is, instead of 0, it's now 1. We also want to recheck if there is something in front of the turtle. Something turtle detect. And you have to do that each time there is something. Okay. Now we want the turtle to dig. Turtle dig up. That means he's going to break the block above him. Okay, and now here's something. I'm going to show you something cute. We also want him to remove the block in front of him. That's this command. And we want him to move 1 block up. Turtle up. Okay. Now we're going to do this. You can have them on the same line if you want. That's something Lua enables. And that basically means this one line is going to do 3 things. It's going to dig up, it's going to dig forward, and it's going to move the turtle upwards. And we have to end the loop. So basically these 3 lines are going to run over and over and over and over until there's nothing in front of the turtle. And if we consider what that means, it basically means that the turtle is 1 block above the tree when this stops. Okay. So, and we want to save this command or make it run as well. So after checking for fuel, we're going to cut wood up. So check fuel, cut wood. Okay. And now we know the height of the tree because that's stored in the value here, tree height. We also have mined some tree because that's basically mining what we're doing here. Let's just save the program. Now we want the turtle to move 1 over. Adjust position. End. So he's able to, well, so he's going to be, well, at this point, let's go up there and check. He's going to stand right here. Right here. So now we want him to turn 1 left, move 1 forward, turn right. And then he should mine downwards again. So, adjust position. It's just 3 commands. Turtle, turn left, turtle, forward, turtle, turn right. That's it. And we want to make sure that he is going to do it, so we're going to add it to the command row down here. Adjust position. There we go. And, well, there we go, just adding indents to this, so it looks nicer. neat. Save. Always remember to save, just in case your shit crash. Then we're going to add one last function. It's going to cut wood down. And guess what that's going to do? Just going to add it to this right away. Okay. Well, we have used a while loop a couple of times, but imagine that we now know the tree height, so we can run a loop for a certain amount of times and get the correct amount downwards, right? Well, those loops are called for and next loops. For tree height. Oh, sorry, that's wrong. Down. Yeah, let's call it downward. Comma tree height. Let's do the spelling correct. Not that it matters, but it has to use the same variable as I did before. Do end. Okay. I'm missing some here. Something right here. Something right here. Equals 1. Okay. What this does is basically for downward, that's a new variable adding, and it's equal to 1. To the tree height, that's just a number. That's the number of times the turtle moved up before. Remember, we counted up here. We counted +1 per turn or per block. So, starting with 1, maybe we should start with 0, but we'll debug that later. Right now we're starting with 1. So if it counted to 20 before, this is going to be the number 20. So for 1 to 20, do this until the end. It's going to run this loop only the same amount of numbers as tree heights specifies it's going to do. And let's just think about what we want. We want the turtle to dig down, and we want the turtle to dig forward. That's just like so. Then we want the turtle to move down. Oh, mistype. Down. And that should run for the same amount of times as before. Yeah. And now I think we're ready to do a beta test. And if you don't know what a beta test is, it's basically testing stuff. Going to turn it to daylight. And this is going to be very exciting. We're just going to type the name of the program. Make sure there's fuel in slot 1 there. And you can see he's working. We're just going to follow him up. Well, I can already tell by now we know the code is formatted correct. Because if it wasn't, you'll get a debug error as soon as you try to run the program. Each program will try to run through the code and check if the syntax is correct anytime you restart the program. Okay, here he comes. Yeah. And now he's doing the cut down. Let's just wait for him down here. What I'm most excited about is to see if he stops one block above, like here, or he's going to stop down here, or maybe even one down into the ground. And yeah, we need to do this one ourselves, or we could edit 3.01 as a last command. After everything is done, we're going to write out here without a function turtle dig. That should make this turtle mine the last block when he has done. But basically, he has mined the entire tree, and you can see we have everything right here. So it was 2 stacks of wood, almost 2 stacks of wood. The last thing I want to go over before we end this video is, of course, then you can write different hues functions. He can now replant. You can make him suck up these saplings, then replant them and add bone meal to them and make a new tree grow. And also put the items back into the, or not back into a chest, but put them into a chest. While in between harvesting trees. And since we have fuel in the first one and always will have, we could do something like this. Because we know there are 16 slots, but we only want 5 of them, we could do something like turtle select 2. Should move this selection over to number 2. 4, 1, no, 2, 2, 2, 16, 2, turtle. Oh, it's drop. Let's do something like this. I think n equals 2 turtle drop turtle select n, and there we go. You can see it's running through the programs, dropping things into the chest, except number 2. A simple small line you can use to enter your inventory, except your fuel. Things like that. And well, some people really use turtles for everything. If you are a regular follower, you will know I very, very rarely use turtles. I've used them a few times if I needed to have a block placed somewhere crazy where I was unable to fly to or anything. Well, not unable to fly to, I don't have the ability to fly usually. But these turtles can help you out. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.